You're listening to Chili Dipping, a podcast about golf and stuff, where a collegiate golfer, a high school golfer, and an everyday amateur talk some golf. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to Chili Dipping, a podcast where we do not talk about how you should make your chili, but where us three morons talk about some golf.
Let's do it.
Welcome in.
Welcome, guys. How's it going?
I hope
Not bad.
I hope it's going very good. It's going great.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have no idea who us three morons are, so
Let's
we're
start there.
all three of us co-hosts. We've got here our boy Nico Cochio.
What's up, y'all?
He plays golf for Rogers State University. He's pretty sick.
Let's do our own intros.
He's a diehard Patriots fan. Nico, you take it from here. Explain who
yeah,
the
let's
heck
do
you
our.
are.
So
Yeah.
my name is Nico Cochio. I am from everywhere in the United States of America. I was born in Massachusetts. I moved to California and I lived there for 10 years. And this is where I met those two morons that are on my podcast hosts.
That's correct.
Now
Yeah.
I am based in Nashville, but I go to school here in Claremore, Oklahoma at Rogers State University, where I'm a Division II college golfer.
Simple.
Love it.
Attaboy.
We've also got with
All
us
right.
our boy Daniel Gonzalez.
That is me.
Plays for John Burroughs High School. If they were playing golf right now, he would be playing on their team. Daniel.
Which is also my alma mater high school.
That is
Yes.
correct. And it's basically my high school. I was homeschooled. But I mean,
We've
adopted you.
Cam is an honorary member of John
That
Burroughs
is-
High School.
Oh,
that is
yeah.
correct. Even though no one there knows who
So-
I am except for you two.
Exactly.
Daniel, you have the floor,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. Born and raised here in Los Angeles, California, the beautiful LA. Diehard Dodger fan, which I would like to mention. We were first in postseason, and
Yeah, baby.
we clinched the division. So we're strong, going strong. Started playing golf about 6-7 years ago. I met Nico my freshman year at Burroughs. So it's kind of started there. Cam, probably my sophomore year.
something like that.
Yeah, like mid sophomore year. So we're
Yeah, because
going
I was
strong.
I was a junior, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about at like a 6-7 handicap right now. Swing's looking pretty good. I'd like to say I beat you when we
Whoa.
played on. I beat Cam.
Anyone could have beaten me that day. It was horrific.
Okay, let's
the wheels
do
fully came out. I have to do my intro. Just real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah.
Daniel.
Okay, now.
You are a negative sandbagger, bro. I'm going to your Grint account right now.
Okay, but I
Man.
don't use Grin. I have all my scorecards right here, bro. I don't use the Grin.
12 to 14 estimate.
Let's
Okay,
get to
but
this.
that's-
Let's get to this after.
Anyway,
Yeah.
third podcast host.
All right,
Cam
now-
Catrava.
that
Yeah,
would be
we
me.
have Cam Petrava.
I am also from basically all over the country. I was born in Nevada, and then I moved to Wyoming, back to Nevada, then Alabama, and then Arizona, and I went back and forth from Alabama. Or no, not Alabama. I went back and forth from Arizona and California for a few years, and I've been based in LA for about 8 years.
Yeah.
Let's see. I started playing golf 3 years ago when I was 15. But I started my mom and sister went to Germany for like 2 weeks, and my dad and I were trying to find something to do that wasn't twiddle our thumbs and watch TV. And he had like been a 3 times a year golfer forever, and I did like a couple junior clinics. And he's like, you know what? Let's like play golf. Let's get into it. And I was like, sure, why not? So he got us lessons, got me a set of clubs, and then I fell into the addiction that is GOLF.
Yeah.
And I met these two
Oh, yeah.
doofs probably 2-3 years ago, just at the golf course that we go to. And now we've all three worked at. Daniel and I are still working there. But yeah, I mean, that's me. I'm an actor, musician, whatever, tech nerd. Not tech nerd.
You're a
I
tech
don't want-
nerd.
Okay, I'm
You're
a
a
tech
tech
nerd.
nerd. You're a tech nerd.
I'm a diehard Saints fan, diehard Alabama fan, and my teams are all over the board. But mostly they're, normal now that Nico roasted me enough about them. So
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's me.
So I
We've-
will say a couple of things right now. I would like to mention that I am the OG DeBell golf course employee of the three of us.
That
I
is-
worked
You
there.
did-
I worked
you did
there
get me my job.
since I worked there since I was 14 years old until I moved out of California because California sucks.
You
And
also
I got Daniel his job.
You also kind of got me my job because you left and I took your spot. So
I
Yeah,
also did almost kind of in a way get Cam
pump
his
your
job.
tires a little bit.
And
I think
and
we both have contributed to Cam getting his job because
I
I was
That's
the one who
fair.
put it up for offer,
That is
I would
absolutely
agree
fair.
with
and
that.
you left.
I would very much agree with that.
So
Okay,
yeah.
so we're gonna do some talk right now. This is technically a golf podcast, but we're not gonna do some golf talk right now.
It's
We
a
already
podcast
I,
about golf and stuff.
Right.
it's a podcast about golf and stuff. So today we're gonna do some stuff podcast. And if you want to hear the golf part of this, then you can listen to the next episode. So we already touched on some sports allegiances and such. So we'll
Yeah.
start there.
Let's go.
So Daniel, Dodgers fan.
All the way, baby. All the way.
You're not as big into hockey as Cam is, and I'm not as big into hockey as Cam is.
That's correct.
But I am more into hockey than you are. So are you a
Yes.
Kings fan? Or do you what's the deal with hockey? What's the deal with basketball and all that stuff for you?
Look, I've been to 2 hockey games in my life.
One of them was with me.
One of them was with Nico, and I found out about it about an hour before it started. Which
This is
super
very true. I also found out that I was going to have to find someone else to go with me about an hour before because I was supposed to go with my dad, but then he got sick.
Yikes.
Yeah, that was funny. Because that was Genesis weekend 2 years ago.
That was Genesis weekend.
So there was a Saturday round where I went with my uncle, my
Your
dad.
uncle,
and
your uncle and your dad.
Yeah, and we were in the restaurant, and I get a text from Nico. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" I was like, "Nothing, just eating dinner." We're at Frontier Walk in Burbank. He's like, "Oh,
Great
okay."
spot. Wait, are you
great
Frontier
spot,
Walk
bro.
or Frontier Walk 2? Because Frontier Walk 2 is a very different experience.
Frontier Walk 2.
Frontier Walk
2.
does not exist anymore. It is now
Frontier
Western Walk.
Yeah,
It's
Frontier
very
Walk
delicious.
is now
Yeah.
Western Walk in Burbank, California.
Had it last
Yep,
week.
that is true. But yeah, I get this text from him, and I was like, "What do you have planned?" He's like, "Can you go to a hockey game right now?" And I look at my parents who are sitting right next to me. I was like, "Can I go to a hockey game right now?" And they're like, "Sure." Like,
So
I was like, "Yeah."
So the story behind this is my dad. So I'm from Massachusetts. My
Boston
dad,
guy.
we're in a Boston family. My dad
Boston
was
guy.
a big Boston Bruins fan, and for Christmas in December, I got him tickets, third row tickets to a Bruins game in LA against the LA Kings. And then in February, when the game was, it was the weekend of the Genesis Invitational, but then it was the Genesis Open. And my dad volunteers for that tournament every year. And I get a call from him saying, I am not feeling good. So you need to find someone else to go to the game with you tonight. So yeah, I called Daniel in 4 seconds and we went to a hockey game that night, which was pretty sick. And I was wearing the world's biggest oversized sweatshirt because me and my dad are not the same size person.
Yeah.
I remember you sending me a Snapchat from like the third row of that hockey game being
Dude.
like, something just happened. Woo. No clue what was going on.
We were not paying attention very closely to the game. All I do know is that the Bruins won that game with scoring 2 goals in the last like minute and a half of the game.
And the most important part is the end.
I mean, let's be real.
100%.
If you you kind of know something happens in any sport when everybody goes crazy, and then just the environment gets you rattled up. So you get excited, and then you get into it.
Except if it's an away game, you just wait until you hear less cheering.
That's
then
true.
you get excited because we were rooting for the Bruins.
I will say, true. I feel like hockey is – I've never been to a hockey game, unfortunately, which is crazy because I'm a huge hockey guy. But
R.I.P.
Recent huge hockey guy. Go Knights.
Very recent.
Biggest born. But I feel like hockey is kind of not one of the only sports. The most like not hockey person inviting sport. Like if you go to a hockey game, from what I've heard, pretty much everyone has a pretty good time, no matter where the seats are. Like my sister used to date this guy who took her to all these cool spots. And they went to like a hockey game and she was like, I didn't know what was going on, but it was easy to understand. And it was fun. Whereas like, if you're not a baseball guy, baseball games can be a little rough. Not to dump on baseball. Baseball is great, but I guess hockey's a little more fast paced. So anyway, I am a
Hockey is also, I would like to say, hockey is also the least
golf.
sport out of all of the sports.
Yeah,
They still allow fighting, which is maybe my favorite part of any sport.
that's
And if
that.
you ask
Yeah,
me, I think that they should allow fights in golf if they were to arise.
That would be amazing. Just Bryson and Brooks going
They
at it. I will
oh,
say
they
just a
would
quick
not.
note.
Bryson and Brooks going at it on the green,
This is
18
not.
green.
We are not doing golf talk today,
This is
but that would
not
be
golf right
hilarious.
now,
This is
but that would be
Cam,
funny.
I
sports
have
allegiances. You already touched on. Let's go.
I
Yeah.
have a quick note. We're gonna keep this pretty clean for the people, for public image. And Nico
Yes,
Nico
I'm
does have the mouth of a sailor.
being
So
a,
when
being a New England New
he's
England born and raised person, and my dad being from New England his entire life. I developed his sense of speech, so I swear a lot. So
that's
we're going
correct.
to replace anytime I swear with me a recording of me saying the word golf, which
Yeah,
was
which will be hilarious.
inspired by one of my friends, Emily.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be hilarious. So I'm sure you'll hear a
credit
couple
to
of those
her.
tonight. Yeah, sports allegiances, as I said, I kind of grew up in Alabama, so my dad and I are diehard Crimson Tide fans. Again, growing up in Alabama, you kind of have to pick Georgia or the Falcons, the Titans or the Saints. And I remember watching the Saints win the Super Bowl with my dad, and I'm just a huge Saints fan, big Drew Brees guy. Um, Hockey, I'm a Vegas Golden Knights fan through and through. I know they're a new team and we haven't gone through a lot, but born and raised in Nevada, cool
I would
spot,
also like
great
to
team,
mention
great story.
that getting into hockey, he decided out of thin air that he was going to be a New York Islanders fan. And after the fact of telling us he was going to be a New
That is
York
correct.
Islanders fan, he summoned a story, which I still believe to be fake, that his mother was born on Long Island.
Okay,
And
she
that's the
was.
reason he has a tie
She
to the
was.
New York Islanders, which I still just do not believe because it
It
was
was.
way after the fact of
It
him
was a
That
telling
freak
was
us.
coincidence.
so
I'll
long
say
after,
that
dude.
she was born in Hempstead, on the old military base there. But it was a freak. It was a freak coincidence. I have no connection to Long
I
Island other
will.
than
I
some guy
will
on a
like.
podcast that I got into hockey on. But I'm a Knights fan.
Yeah.
Baseball, love the Dodgers. I used to be a big Diamondbacks guy, but
But the
Andy
Diamondbacks suck,
Gonzo,
so
and they suck. But LA, been here for 8 years. This is my home. Love the Dodgers. Lakers.
Um.
My dad always talks about how when I was like being born, is that how you say that? When my mom was like, whatever. When they were at the
When.
hospital, like my dad and the doctor were watching like, Laker
when your
game.
mom was in labor,
That
yep.
is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
They were watching like Laker games. I've just grown up a Lakers fan.
That's funny.
Solid.
And I think that covers it for me.
Yeah. I would like to bring up. A quick inside joke that we haven't said in a while. But Nico, did you know that Cam's
Okay.
from Arizona?
Yes. So for the
Yeah.
first maybe year and a half that I knew Cam a little bit longer than Daniel knew Cam.
But it wasn't
I
much, bro. It was like a
it
couple
wasn't
weeks.
It was
it
like 2
wasn't
weeks.
very much, but I feel like in the first 2 weeks that I knew him, every single time I saw Cam, we would have a conversation. And he'd say, "So I'm from Arizona, and this
And then
happened
talk
there."
about
And then something happened. And then the same thing
Oh,
happened
yeah.
when he met Daniel for a solid amount of time. And then he
Oh,
moved
yeah.
to Nevada.
Well, so
So
we kind of had to abruptly move because of a job situation with my dad.
true.
So he's working up in Nevada right now. Basically, is
True.
the whole spiel. So we don't go back and forth. He comes down here. But so the inside joke
So
for a
that's
long
that
time
inside joke.
was, I'm from
Did you
Arizona.
know that
Hello, my name is
Cam
Cam.
is
I'm
from
from
Arizona?
Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funniest part is when that joke was really, really getting big, I hadn't told anyone that we were like moving. So
Out of
that's
Arizona.
True.
out of
You were
Arizona.
moving out of
correct.
Arizona when
Arizona.
that
That's
joke was
very
at its
true.
peak. Yes.
Because you go and you're like, hey, I'm in Nevada now. And we're kind of just like, what?
What?
He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're moving. We're moving. And I'm like, what?
Like, from
Where
out
did
of nowhere.
this
Don't
come
worry.
from?
That's how it was for us too. Anyway,
That was
so
funny. Yeah.
so Nico,
Nico.
you are watching New Girl currently. Apparently.
We'll touch on that in a second. I will go over my sports allegiances, even
Sports
though I mentioned
allegiances.
Oh
Boston.
wow! I completely cut you off.
You completely forgot. You
Wow.
completely
I was gonna
cut me
bring
From
it
off.
out
up.
of nowhere. What a clown.
So let's see. Born and raised in Massachusetts. So Boston sports guy. Love the Red Sox. Even the Red Sox suck right now, and it makes me sad. I'm a Celtics guy. I'm watching the Celtics game right now. It is game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I just recently became a basketball guy because my roommate's a basketball guy.
Good for you.
Huge Patriots guy and a huge Bruins guy. I was very upset that the Bruins did not advance further into the NBA
Tuukka
or
Rask backing out
NBA
was
into
tough.
the hockey
The
playoffs.
They're
So
a pretty
NHL.
young squad though. I think
they're a pretty young
So-
squad. So yeah, let's move on to.
Wait.
Oh,
Before we move on,
we're not moving on.
Nico is watching so much basketball now that the other day when we were on FaceTime,
Oh yes,
he used a basketball analogy
I was having
that
a
came
personal
out of
dilemma.
left field, dude. It
I
was
was
the
having a
weirdest thing ever.
personal
left
dilemma
court. How
about
about that?
I was
It
yeah,
was so funny.
I was having a personal dilemma with a girl situation, and I was trying to explain to Daniel what the girl situation was, and I used a basketball analogy, and I realized that I hated it, so then I changed the analogy to a football analogy, and I loved that one a lot better.
Yeah.
So
As
yeah.
is
Okay.
pretty normal. I used a football analogy with English like a month ago when I was finishing up English. I just used a football analogy, but I can't even remember what we were talking about. But
I used to do that all
football
the
analogies
time.
are great, man. There's so much there. Anyway,
There is a lot.
Nico, you are watching New Girl currently, and
I am
supposedly it
watching
is
New Girl.
hilarious.
So I started watching New Girl. So I'm a freshman in college, Rogers State University, Claremore, Oklahoma. I'm a freshman this year. I got to school about a month and a half ago, and one of the first things I started doing when I got here is I needed to know a new show to watch, a new show to binge watch. I'd already finished The Office. I'd already finished Parks and Rec. So I just needed something else to watch, and New Girl was the show that I got recommended to by one of my friends. So it's definitely a chick show. I actually don't think it's really a chick show. It definitely seems like a chick show, but I sit here and I watch it.
Did you just assume the show's gender, Nico?
I did just
Nico.
assume the show. I
How
did
dare
just
you.
assume the show's
It is
gender.
2020,
How dare you
sir.
do that?
Anyways,
Anyway.
it definitely seems like a chick show, and I won't deny that it's kind of a chick show, but I sit and I watch it in my bed when I'm bored, and I laugh my ass off hysterically because it's hilarious.
Hey, no shade.
There's so many very cringe-worthy moments in this. There was a Taylor Swift cameo in a couple episodes ago, which was hilarious.
Wow.
And I legitimately had to pause the show because I was laughing so hard
Swizzle.
when I saw Taylor Swift on that TV screen or on my computer screen. So if any of you are looking to binge watch a new comedy, I would highly recommend watching New Girl because it's hilarious.
I'm glad you brought that up because I just finished Community,
Attaboy.
which Cam put me on. I
That's
finished
right.
it a while ago. It's a hilarious show. I mean,
It's
not
fantastic.
office status, not
It's
Parks
pretty
and
close,
Rec
though.
status, but it's very close. It's
There are
still
a few episodes that I would say are very close to the best episodes of The Office. The Office is a lot more consistent. I haven't finished season 3 out of Community, but I've heard that
Wow.
4 to 5 like suck. Is there 6 now? Yeah, I feel like 4, 5, 6 are supposedly supposed to suck, whereas like The Office, it's great throughout.
Yeah,
But there are a few
they kind of like
episodes
ran out of ideas.
Yeah, there are a
I
few
feel like
episodes of
towards the end
Community though that I would say
they
would
are
stand
pretty
up to the
good.
best of The Office. That's just my
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to ask y'all a question. New topic. I need to ask y'all a question.
New topic.
Have you had the new cold brew mocha coffee from Chick-fil-A?
I have not because
I
I don't
have
drink
not.
coffee. Daniel, the floor is yours.
I am a coffee addict. Coffee is just I need it. I mean, it's delicious.
I feel a butt coming on when it comes to reference to the Chick-fil-A cold brew, mocha cold brew.
No,
that is
I
now
just
out.
I just haven't had it. I just haven't had the chance
So
to go have it.
I went very recently, and by very recently I mean about 3 hours ago, and I went and got Chick-fil-A for dinner. And I tried the mocha cold brew for the first time, and that may be one of the best cold brew coffees I've ever had in my entire life. It was delicious. It was sweet with that chocolatey mocha taste, but it had that coffee taste, and it had the classic Chick-fil-A small ice cubes that you can like chew on really easily.
Oh, they're great.
And
Those are iconic.
They
Chick-fil-A,
are so good.
The people at Chick-fil-A forgot to give me a straw, and I don't have any straws in my dorm room, so I had to drink it from like just sipping it regularly without a straw. And I think that was almost better because I was drinking it slower, and I got to chew on the ice the entire time. So, yeah, the Chick-fil-A cold brew coffee, mocha cold brew coffee. Discard straws when you drink the mocha cold brew coffee. Discard the straw.
Make sure
Save
you
the save the
dispose of
turtles.
them properly.
Save the
Make sure you
turtles.
dispose of
Save
them
the turtles.
properly because save the turtles.
Hashtag save the turtles. We are an eco-friendly podcast here.
That's correct. Now
I don't-
Nico is our resident Dunkin' Donuts addict. Nico runs on Dunkin'. So how are you feeling about this Chick-fil-A, cold brew versus your go-to Dunkin'?
Yeah.
Look, I will say that nothing beats a good cup of Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee for
Dunkin'
me.
Donuts.
It's actually not Dunkin' Donuts anymore. It's just Dunkin' because they're more than just donuts. But sadly, there is not a Dunkin' very, very close to me. There is one in Tulsa, but I'm about 40 minutes away from Tulsa. So I have not been to Dunkin'. Well, I went a couple weeks ago because I had to go down there anyways into Tulsa. But I don't go to Dunkin' as much as I did in California, as much as I did in Nashville. I just, I haven't been. There's a Starbucks right down the street, so I've been going to Starbucks, and I don't like Starbucks. It's just not as good.
I might say is for the better, because I remember there was a time where you were telling me, you're like, look, I can't keep going to Dunkin'. We're just spending too much money on coffee, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
I got $35 worth of gift cards to Starbucks for various things, graduation over the last couple of months. So I downloaded the Starbucks app. I put all the gift cards into the app, and it ended up being $35. So I've been spending that $35 at the Starbucks that's here in Claremore. It's just not as good. It just isn't. So now I'm just thinking about taking a 1-month trip to Dunkin', just so I can cleanse my palate, my coffee palate, with a good cup of coffee instead of a mediocre cup of coffee from Starbucks.
Overpriced mediocre cup of coffee.
Overpriced mediocre cup of coffee from Starbucks.
Yeah. No one wants an overpriced mediocre cup of coffee.
But
take
Dunkin'
that Starbucks.
Donuts,
I had
Dunkin'
Starbucks,
Donuts is where it's at. I don't want to do free ads on this show, but I will give free ads to Dunkin' Donuts all day long because they are really the best coffee.
Man. Chili Dippin' podcast runs on Dunkin'.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No free ads, but
Dunkin',
we'll do a free ad.
If you guys have connections at Dunkin', hit us up.
I will say that Cam's house in Los Angeles is perfect distance away from the Dunkin' Donuts that is closest to him, that I can go and I can park and I can pick him up and put in a mobile order at Dunkin', and the second that I pull up to that Dunkin', my mobile order is just ready. So
I don't think there was a day when because I don't drive yet because
right, it was perfect. Every time I hung out with Cam, I usually had to pick him up, and I would just pop in a Dunkin' order, or I would just something along those lines, and I would just roll up and it was already ready for me. It was wonderful.
Dunkin' every time. Yeah. So Dunkin' is the way to go. So I have this topic in here called chicken wing controversy.
Yeah,
I know you guys have no idea. I wanted to wait for the actual podcast. So I think this is a very, very important issue in our country today. I think
in our country.
Wow,
oh, it's a country. It's a
there
country.
Are a lot of.
I don't think it's talked about enough,
now,
and I know it might be a sensitive topic. But when you order chicken wings, the idea is that you're going to get wings, right? Chicken wings. The little wing part with the 2 bones. I ordered chicken wings today. I had 10 wings.
You don't like the drumsticks?
I had 2 wings. 2. That is 20% of my chicken wings were actual wings. The rest were like those fun size drumstick things. And they're delicious too, don't get me wrong. Like, they're great. But I feel like the ratio needs to be 50-50 at the very least.
So I'm gonna say something about this, and based on what you just said, you're not gonna like this, Cam.
Okay.
When I order chicken wings, I would much rather have mini drumsticks than the actual wings themselves.
I agree.
It's less bones. It's
more
meat. I just chew on it and then I'm done and throw it into the container wherever I'm putting it. I understand what you're saying about order chicken wings. You expect the wings, but yes. I just think that I would much rather have the drumsticks. I would also like to say that with 6:54 left in the fourth, the Boston Celtics are up 105-91 in Game 5 of the East Finals. So,
all right, go
Celtics in 7.
Very nice.
And as we speak, the Dodgers
are losing 4-2 against the Angels with top of the fourth, 1 out.
Yes.
2 strikes and a man.
Are you watching that too?
I'm watching that game because the Red Sox are so disappointing that I just refuse to watch their games because it makes me sad.
And as we
So
speak, I am still depressed about the Saints losing to the Raiders this Sunday.
That was a
wow.
tough hit, but let's be
Oh
real.
yeah,
This entire
this
past
whole
week of
weekend
football
was
was a tough hit
That's
for
a
Field.
fact. So we all
a
play fantasy
slaughterhouse,
football,
man.
and I
Yes,
lost
I
5
run.
starters. I lost
I
both of my
clapped
first round
Nico.
picks. I lost Christian McCaffrey. I have Christian McCaffrey in one league. Okay, one league I have Christian McCaffrey, Raheem Mostert, Jameson Crowder, AJ Brown, and I had Chris Godwin. He was out for the concussion. And then in my other league, my first round pick, Saquon Barkley, out for season. Kenny Galladay has been out the first 2 weeks. Someone else is out too. DJ Chark was out this week. This is not how
Nobody
life is
had.
supposed to be. But this is where you win your season. You don't win your season at the draft. You win your season
Nope.
making moves. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So for everyone to get caught up, I run a fantasy football league with a bunch of my buddies, including Cam and Daniel.
It's called the League of Below Average Men.
It is called the League of Below Average Men, and I am the commissioner of this league. It's the third or fourth year. I believe it's the fourth year that I'm doing this league. I could be wrong on that. So yeah, it's 12-man league, PPR, all that crap. Did you see that? I tried to censor myself there.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
I said less of a swear word when I censored myself. I run that league. I run that league. I said the C word.
Not that one.
Not that one. The good was C word. The crap word. So yeah, it's a fun time. I would like to say that I made a bad trade. So I had a bad draft when it came to running backs in general. I had Phillip Lindsay and Derrick Henry on my roster, and I traded before week 1. I traded for Cam Akers, who is the rookie running back for the Los Angeles Rams.
Shout out to the Rams.
He was shout out to the Rams. And that was a major disappointment. And so has Derrick Henry been for the first couple of games of the season.
Yeah, but
honest.
He's a guy who always gets better as it gets colder. I've heard him called Derek Yeti because, when you get hit in the face when it's cold, it hurts a lot more than when it's warm. So he's gonna get better with time.
Oh yeah.
So this past week, I put in multiple waiver claims on the waiver wire because I needed to fix my running back situation.
Yeah,
and I got 3 of my 4 waiver claims, which I believe is an unheard of stat. I put in a waiver claim to get Myles Gaskin, the starting running back for the Miami Dolphins, who last night
he looked pretty good.
Last night he scored 14.5 points and had 0 touchdowns. So if he gets a breakaway from 20 yards or something and he gets a touchdown, that's a 21-point game for him. Something like that.
He's gonna have a couple really, really good weeks this year.
He will have a couple of really good games. I also, on the waiver wire, got picked up Dion Lewis and Devontae Freeman, which are the 2 best-looking starters for the New York Giants after the loss of Saquon Barkley. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace to his fantasy season. He did not die.
But
his football season.
Rest
this year
in points.
So Dion Lewis and Devontae Freeman are now sitting on my bench, and I'm going to figure out in the next couple of weeks who the Giants' primary starter is going to be and who I'm going to keep on my roster, and potentially, if they both do good, who I'm going to use as a trading chip to get someone better on my bench.
Yeah, I will just say our all of our team names are great. I am Cam. You feel the love tonight. This isn't as kind of clean cut, but Daniel's is.
Mine's is funny.
Golf. We might have to bleep his name out. I mean,
yeah,
I think I might do that. There. That's a good call.
We might have to bleep his name, and then I'm the commissioner of the league, so my name is just Commish Coachio. But
still good.
In the second, I am in another fantasy league with another one of my buddies, and my fantasy team name in that league is Make Football Great Again.
Make Football Great Again.
That's very
which I think is a stellar. I should change it to Keep Football Great. but that is a stellar name. Whether you like politics or not, whether you like Donald Trump or not, I think
It doesn't.
Make Football
Yeah,
Great
it doesn't
Again
matter.
Yeah.
is a
That's just a
hilarious team
great.
name.
That's a
It's
funny
a great
name
name.
wherever you are.
We don't want to get
Oh.
too much into politics here.
I've
We don't
got
talk about politics. We don't talk.
We do not talk
other
about
than
politics.
the controversy of chicken wings, which is a nationwide issue. We do not
Nationwide
Yes.
issue
That's correct.
with a population of one person, Cam Catrava, being
That's-
frustrated
yeah.
that he only got 2 wings in his order of chicken.
Dude, I wanted more. They were so good too. The sauce was great.
From
and
where?
It was at TPC DeBell Golf Club where we
Oh,
work.
okay.
Speaking of that, this is a little
Those
bit of
are
golf
pretty
talk.
good.
They were delicious. I rode around with my sister who does the beverage cart.
Sick.
I like rode around with her today. I swear, people just throw money at her. It is
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
I didn't know
Oh,
this
yeah.
until then. She let me like split tips and stuff,
Yeah.
which was cool. But it was
That's
crazy.
crazy.
She would give a guy a Gatorade, and the guy would give her like $10. She's like, "All right, I'll give you 7 back." And then he's like, "Oh, just give me 2, keep the 5." And I'm like, "What, dude? Are you
Wow.
kidding me?"
I will say that the cart girl, the beverage
Wow.
cart girl, I don't know what the politically correct term for beverage worker
I think
is
it would.
in this
Yeah.
world.
I think cart girl's fine. I think
Cart
golf's
girl?
kind of
Okay.
protected there.
Fine.
So the cart girl who worked at DeBell when I first started working there back in 2016, she would go into the pro shop afterwards and she would count all the cash and stuff, and she would divide the tips based on how much she sold in the pro shop, because I don't really think she liked the people upstairs as much as she liked us down in the pro shop. She would make
Reasonable.
at least $250 in tips on Friday and Saturday. She worked 2 days a week. She'd work Friday, she'd work Saturday. She was making at least $250, at least $300 for the weekend, and then maybe on good weekends she'd make $250 in a day. I mean, it was incredible.
It was a great experience. I mean, we were just kind of riding around, like driving. Hey, do you guys want drinks? And we saw some of our buddies, like whatever. Keep in mind that
Yeah.
Daniel and I and Nico was doing this too. We are like working our tails off, 8 hours in the beating sun.
I got
Getting
$10 in
mashed.
tips. No, not even. It was like $5 in
Whoa.
tips.
That's
In
intense.
the past month.
That's better than me. I think I've probably made 4. Yeah, probably 5. About.
I think
Yeah.
the total. I worked at that golf course for 4 years. I think the total amount of money that I made in tips is less than 3 digits. It has to be.
Probably.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean,
don't doubt that.
yeah.
I made more money in tips working 2 days at a country club in Nashville than I did the entire time that I worked for 4 years at DeBell Golf Club.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
probably. And
I mean, we have to normalize that.
I wear an athletic watch to work because I need to find a way to use it. It's like a golf watch. And that way I don't have to pull out my phone or whatever to check the time to see if I clock in or whatever. And it gives me my steps and miles. Like I walked 8 miles today at work and I got 0 tips.
8
And,
miles? But
yeah.
that's funny, though, because that's 8 miles in a 50-foot,
About
like about 50 feet
back
of
and
really
forth, back
walking.
and forth, back and forth.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
it's a good job, but
It's a great job.
tip is
It's a great
awful.
first
You
job.
just-
Yeah.
It's,
I don't
mean,
want to say we get treated like garbage up there, because we don't. The people are
'Cause
very
we don't.
nice to
No,
us.
We
people
really
are great
don't.
up
Yeah.
there,
Just-
dude. It's awesome.
People
but
are great.
tips
It's
are-
just
just
the
not-
tips are just.
Tips
I don't think
horrendous.
people realize like that they should be tipping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we don't really clean
Yeah,
their
I'm
clubs.
sure they don't. I'm
you
sure
know?
that's not what they think. Yeah, because we don't.
Yeah.
We just
Well,
wash
and
carts. We don't
it's
clean.
a,
not
it's a
country club.
public municipal golf course, but
Yeah.
still, I will say having I think it's very important for people, especially young people, as we are, to work like a service job at some point, because it just makes you
Oh.
appreciate everyone more.
You
Like when
have
I roll
to-
up to like
100%.
Chipotle or
Oh,
something
yeah.
and someone's making my burrito, I'm much more appreciative of them because I'm like, oh, I work too. Or,
Thank you.
like when I'm older and I go to a golf course, I'm gonna tip the cart guys so well because I've been there.
Oh yeah.
That
yeah.
was me.
I mean, and not only
Do you know
appreciate
who I'm not going to tip at a golf course? The guy who works in the pro shop. That's who
Oh.
I'm not going to tip.
bro,
Is because
the guys in the pro shop
not
complain
they get tipped,
all the time,
They
and they get tipped so
so-
much.
Right,
they get tips.
tipped so
It's
much.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
I mean, not that they don't deal with some golf, but they sit behind a computer and click some buttons all day long, and maybe
Watch
maybe they have
football
to
on
do.
the air conditioning.
They have football in the air conditioning. They
Yeah.
maybe have to do inventory or something while they're there. But
It's really intense.
I mean, it's much easier work than, slinging carts around and stuff
Absolutely.
and going and
Walking eight
running over to
miles.
the range and picking and walking 8 miles and stuff. And they make, not a ton of tips, but I mean, they make a
Golf.
lot more than us.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
All
for
right.
sure.
So I
Yeah,
think
so
that's good for this little
I think-
intro podcast.
I think
Yeah,
real
I
quick,
mean,
let's talk about
a nice little taste.
we're gonna be recording on probably either Sunday nights or Mondays. So the show will be out every Tuesday. We're gonna do 1 hour a week. As of right now. Then we could kind of recap the golf that went on, the past weekend or sports or
Yeah,
whatever
we'll try
stuff.
and make sure that someone watches the golf that's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
To
Unless
kind of
it's
keep up
just
with
like
with who wins.
a trash tournament that nobody watches, and then
Correct.
nobody will miss
John
out on
Deere.
anything. Like the John Deere
Correct.
Classic. Yeah, so we're gonna upload on Tuesdays. So the kind of goals for the podcast, I think all of us, it's just kind of being fun, relatable, just
Yeah.
talking about whatever. I mean, there's a lot of shows out there that I'm sure we've all listened to that are like, whoa, this is really serious and structured and not relatable at
No.
all. We're going to try to be the
It's-
opposite. We're going to try to just hang out, have a good time. We want, every listener to feel like they're in the room just chatting golf with us and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
golf and stuff.
our intro kind of says it all. We're just, I'm a collegiate
Going.
golfer, Daniel's a high school golfer, and Cam is just an amateur golfer. So, we got three perspectives of three kind of different levels of competitiveness, and
Oh yeah.
we got a lot of opinions on golf. I know that we all do. So, we'll talk about all that throughout the season and, throughout the majors that are coming up, or the major that's coming up, Masters in November, which is weird.
Crazy.
But yeah,
Very
so,
weird, man. That's gonna be
just,
insane.
it's going to be a very lighthearted podcast about 99% of the time.
And we're going to, I think we should try to have some guests on too. Guests. I've gone through
Yes.
puberty. Don't worry. We
That
should
was
try to have some
a
guests on
great,
because
that was a great voice crack.
we do have a few people who work at a golf course that are just absolute beauties. I mean,
Oh yeah.
great stories, hilarious
Definitely.
personalities.
I mean, we work at a golf course. Stuff happens all the time.
yeah,
Mookie
we
Betts just almost got hit by a 92-mile-an-hour pitch. I just want to say that.
not Mookie.
Oof.
No.
We can't
Also-
have that. Nico's loving that though.
I mean, we all work in the cart bar.
I don't
He
love that.
probably
I
is.
love Mookie Betts. Love Mookie Betts.
He was a
Disappointed-
Boston boy.
disappointed in the trade, but I love Mookie Betts.
He was
I'm
from
very
the home.
happy with the trade.
Yeah.
Daniel is so much happy with that trade that he named his new dog Mookie, and it was
Yeah,
partially
so-
in spite.
Such
It was
a
partially
cute
in spite
dog.
of me.
We got a puppy about it's probably been a month and a half now, and we did name him Mookie. It was not my idea. It was actually my sister's idea. But Nico is convinced. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But
that's
Nico is convinced that I did it and targeting him because
I
we
don't
got
care
the
whose
trade.
idea it was. Your entire family targets me for baseball related things. That's
a
what I
bold
believe.
accusation.
You're a Red Sox fan, though. What else can you expect?
I am a Red Sox
Yeah.
fan. I'm the outlier in California, especially in the Daniel Gonzalez household. And I just believe that your entire family is out to target me when it comes to baseball.
I will say we're all
know?
we're all big dog guys here.
Oh,
Nico-
yeah.
Huge
he's
dog
got his
guy.
boy,
I
his
got a
boy Frankie.
Dog lovers.
I got a dog, Frankie. I miss him like
I miss
all.
Frankie.
My mom sends me pictures of Frankie all the time. It just makes me sad.
Yeah, and then I've got an
miss
old
Frankie.
man around the house who I mean, I swear, I walked. We've got hardwood floors, so we have to Swift for like 15 times a day. I swear, I walk down the thing, and it is like there is a Yeti / Chewbacca with gray hair walking around. It is crazy, but he's adorable, and I love him. Snoopy the Beagle, old man.
That's hilarious.
Needs
You
a
know,
cane.
Mookie is starting to shed a lot,
Oh
and
no!
it's crazy.
Oh,
So,
oh, yeah.
it's crazy. I mean, my mom took him to my sister's soccer practice the other day, and they were chilling in the car because we live in the world of coronavirus. And so they're
What's
in
that?
the car.
COVID?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sorry.
What's that?
Yeah. So they were in the car, and I get into that car the day after. I had to use a lint roller for probably the first time in my life
Wow.
that I can remember.
my-
I haven't used a lint roller in so long.
My mom will go and she'll sweep. When we were in California, when we were in Nashville, she will sweep, and about 45 minutes later, you will look down and you will ask her, "Did you sweep?" Because Frankie just sheds like crazy. Every time my mom sweeps, she sweeps up an entire layer of Frankie fur, just every day. I mean,
Not even-
She could sweep multiple times a day, and every time she sweeps, she would
Dude,
just get an entire new layer of fur.
Yeah.
it's not a layer. It's another dog. I mean,
It's a whole dog. It's a
nother
whole dog.
Snoopy and
It's a whole
Frankie are
dog.
the same in that way, where it's like, how many dogs do I have around here? Oh wait, it's one, but it feels like 10.
It's
Like,
one. It's
Yeah.
one, and it feels like 1,000.
yeah, it is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dogs are great.
Mookie's.
We need to at some point talk about golf course dogs, because I know at I
I
didn't know
have a
you
golf
guys knew we
course.
work at a golf course, but there is this dog. I think his name is Copper. He's adorable.
Cooper.
Carrie said it was Copper. I haven't introduced myself to the dog.
It's Cooper.
Cooper
cutest dog
is
ever.
so well behaved. It is unbelievable. The first
He's
time I
incredible.
really saw him, his owner was like paying in the pro shop, and he was just sitting there by the putting green, just looking around, having a good day. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have a golf course dog calendar in my dorm room, which is like different dogs that belong to superintendents at different golf courses across the U.S. can submit pictures of their dogs, and they might get featured in this calendar. So
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, I have that up in my room, and I look at that all the time, and it reminds me of the fact that I miss dogs, but it's okay.
Yeah,
You should sneak Frankie into your dorm. Next
I
time you go
am-
home,
Chick magnet.
I am
Sneak him
very
into
much
your dorm
considering. I
and
am very
have
much
your
considering
mascot.
going to get a doctor's note that says I have anxiety, so that I can get an emotional support animal in my dorm.
That's a great.
I don't mean to make fun of people who have mental challenges with
Of
anxiety
course
or
not.
depression or
No.
anything like that, but I miss dogs so
We're an
much. and I'd be
anti-depression
willing-
podcast. Just a heads up.
Anti-depression,
Yes.
anti-depression.
This is what
Anti-anxiety
we're all about.
podcast.
Yeah. But I'm very much considering going and getting a doctor's note that says I have anxiety so I can get a dog in my dorm.
I
That's
will
not a
say,
bad
like,
plan.
we feel for all those people who struggle with that stuff, but it is a little bit not even that. There's the emotional support dogs who, like,
Yeah, that's what it is.
I
It's an
see some
emotional support
people
dog.
who are like on airplanes. This person might be the happiest person of all time. Like, they are just smiling, living the dream, and they've got their little dog there, and they didn't even like pay or like go through all the hoops. They're like, oh yeah, he's my emotional support dog. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Isn't there?
It
There's
seems
so many.
like
This
a
is my
great thing
emotional
to-
support parrot. Speaking of birds, dude, I was bringing in groceries today.
Speaking of birds,
Dude, okay,
Speaking of birds,
wait,
whoa.
so-
where did
I'm-
birds come into
I'm
this?
bringing in groceries today from Costco.
Oh,
and
love
got
I
attacked
see
Costco.
by a
this guy.
parrot.
Costco's the best. No free ads, but Costco's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I see this guy walking down the street. This is the most LA thing ever, and he's got a big old white bird with like a huge yellow thing on top, and he's just walking. The bird's
Oh,
like,
he's got a cockatoo.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it was like the little yellow thing on his
Well,
forehead. I know
it was down, and then I looked
Right,
at the
yeah,
bird
this is that.
after, because I didn't, when you're walking around with a bird, you don't want people to judge you. So I waited till he passed by, and then I looked,
and then you
the
judge.
bird looked at me, and the little thing came up, and I was like, man, this guy's trying to intimidate me.
It's like,
Wow.
yo, square up.
Whoa.
Wow.
That
Fight.
is
All right,
funny.
boys.
Anyway,
Great
good
podcast.
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Great podcast.
So episodes are coming out every Tuesday. If you want to hear what we have to say about golf, then tune in to next episode.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's it for today.
if you wanna find us on social media, we are at at Chili
Nope.
Dipping Pod
At Chili Dipping Pod on
At Chili
Instagram
Dipping
and
Pod.
Twitter.
and
And-
getting the Facebook page going and YouTube.
Yes.
We're gonna be up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you wanna, check us out, listen. I am at Cam Katraba. Daniel, you are
At Daniel.
you're
At
private
Daniel
on
_G825.
cool. Nico is at Nico Coachio.
I am at Nico Coachio on Instagram and Twitter,
Yeah.
public accounts.
So
And I have a
My-
Facebook, but I don't pay attention to Facebook really. So you can try and friend request me, but I probably won't even see it.
probably yeah.
Neither do I.
I'm the one operating the Facebook page because I'm an old person apparently.
Yep.
No, I mean I feel like
Yeah.
Facebook is just kind of on the out.
When you said Facebook page, I kind of considered if we really needed one. I didn't really think it was necessary, but I just let you
feel
do
like
your
it's
thing, so.
just in case,
All right,
But
let's tie it back in here,
Instagram-
boys.
Instagram, Twitter for sure. Anyway, thank you guys very much
Instagram
for
is-
listening.
Clarification.
Yes.
Clarification.
Go ahead.
Chili, 1L. We had to look it up. Chili is spelled with 1L.
Yes.
Apparently I spelled it wrong when I was trying
Well-
to change it during my 10 a.m. class the other day because I was bored. So yes, I spelt it with two L's, but it is Chili, ChiliDippingPod.
If you didn't know,
Chili dipping pod.
the British spelling of chili is ChILLI. It's a British
Maybe it's
thing.
because I have 6
Today.
international kids on my team, and two of them are from England. So I think that might have played a factor into why I spelled it with two L's.
I might. No, that's Australian.
I also didn't know that fact about the British version of chili, so I kind of made that up. But I'm gonna stick with that.
Let's go with that.
Google helped me out with that. Well, anyway, guys.
Okay.
It
Thanks
was a
for
pleasure.
listening.
Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you every Tuesday, probably starting October 4th, 2020. But we thank you very much for listening, and we will we'll catch you guys next week.
Come out.
So, Daniel, Nico, pleasure, guys.
It's a pleasure.
Adios. Thank you for listening to Chili Dipping, a podcast about golf and stuff. You can find us on social media at Chili Dipping Pod and listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, with new episodes every Tuesday.